do a little update on my short wheelbase, which I am currently sat in. If you've been paying attention, you might recognise the Verona green interior. I just came out for a little walk and thought I'd take this one out for a drive. So obviously I got this back in, what was it, June and July. Since I've done about 1,200 miles on it. Only had one noticeable breakdown, which is actually a flat tyre. The front passenger side tyre went flat on the A1M on the way back from I was doing some green laning up in North Yorkshire. Other than that, I had to change the starter motor. We had the original starter motor was reconditioned but was playing up. What else was there? I had to change the voltage regulator box as well. So it's still running a dynamo, still positive earth electrics. Was given a voltage regulator box which didn't work, it wasn't charging the system. Managed to find a new old stock one, relatively local to where I live. Got it, put it on, bam, straight away working fine. So solve that problem. I mean, the car drives very nice. Yeah, it's relatively nippy for an old Land Rover. I mean, I've had it up to 70 on the motorway without any major problem. Generally, you know, country lanes it's doing 45, 50, 55 quite happily. I mean, even on a longer run, I was up at Beaver Castle Land Rover show last weekend, and I just went up at sort of 50, 55, same coming back. No real point rushing. It doesn't have an overdrive, it never had one. Don't plan on fitting one. It's getting about 17 mpg, which I'm pretty happy with. I mean, bearing in mind, obviously Seb is sort of 12 on a decent run. Obviously, bear in mind, Seb, you know, 50. Seb will do nearly 70, but you're talking 50 really. That's a cruising speed. Yeah, so you know, it's all very nice. It's a great machine. We have had issues with the fueling. It seems that the petrol tank wasn't painted inside. So where it's been sat and moisture's got in it, there's like a thin layer of sort of rust on the inside, which has been making its way through the fuel system, which is kind of annoying. And the glass bowl on the lift pump fills with like, it's kind of like sand. You know, I think it is actually a combination of dirt and rust, but hopefully, you know, over time it will clear itself out. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. I mean, I'm still getting used to it. I'm getting used to that. This, for example, it really wants full choke to start, even in warm weather, which is kind of surprising. Seb is a bit more forgiving in that. I think the 6 cylinders may be a bit easier to start, but it's just, you know, getting used to the foibles of the vehicle in itself. Obviously, you know, there's been the odd nut and bolts come loose. The roof rack came loose actually, and there was like this banging through the vehicle, which I found was actually the windscreen hinge bolt had just come undone so I just nipped it up and sorted it. So touch wood, nothing serious so far. I don't really see why there would be. It does drop out of third gear on overrun sometimes, which is not that unusual on these gearboxes. It's one of them, you just, you know, if you're on a downhill or whatever, you just hold it in gear, it's okay. You know, it's maybe not ideal, but I can't complain too much about that. Yeah, so, you know, I just keep you know, using it, just keep it in action. I'm thinking of some, you know, trips going forward. This weekend So I think would be the 14th of September is the Cotswold Tea on the Tailgate meeting, which is over by Stowe on the Wold, which I went to a couple of months back. I think they do it about every 2 or 3 months. That was quite a good little gathering. I took Seb there. Nice mix of, everything from defenders, mainly defenders, discoveries, a few series. And I'll be taking this on this Sunday coming, which I'm quite looking forward to. Beyond that, I don't really know. There should be the Memorial Day, Remembrance Day, off-road event every year, which I've done for the last, I think, certainly at least 3 or 4 years. That I expect will be happening again, in which case I'll take this to that. Beyond that, not really sure for next year. I imagine I'll just keep hooting around sort of in the winter. I'm thinking next summer. Well, I want to go to Norway for midsummer next year. I want to get up into the up by Nordkapp, or at least into the Arctic Circle. So I asked around a couple of guys I know have expressed an interest going in convoy. One's a Series 1, the other's got a Series 3. I was thinking of taking my 110. I'm wondering, maybe I should take this. I don't know. What do you think? Would you take a Puma Defender, which is going to be comfortable and economical, or do you take a series because everybody else is taking a series? It would be kind of fun. And that's a place I've really wanted to go for a very long time. I want to go to Norway, and I want to do Iceland at some point. Whether that'll be in a Land Rover, I don't know. But I definitely want to get there. But as to next year for sort of shows and things, certainly Gaydon I always do. So I'll be doing that. Other than that, I don't really know. I've not really considered anything else. I'm not a massive fan of the sort of big Land Rover gatherings. They tend to be a bit more modern. They're a bit loud and very people. I prefer the sort of smaller, more relaxed, intimate kind of events. The tea on the tailgate thing is very nice. It's very relaxed, very chill. No sort of expectations, just literally pull up and make your brews and chat to people, So if anyone does have any ideas for events, I'm thinking more the sort of steam rally, classic commercial, that sort of event is probably more what I would want to do with this. It's the Land Rover I think it's quite divided. People into the modern stuff and the people into the vintage stuff, and there's quite a demarcation between the two, it seems. Series owners are kind of out on their own. I mean, I have a Defender, but nevertheless, series is my main interest. But I mean, that being said, obviously it's nice to see stuff. I mean, at the Beaver Castle show, they've got the Camel Trophy trucks there, which are great. They've got the G4. They've got lots of, sort of racing Defender type vehicle. It's nice. It's nice to have that mix. I think going to an event and it's just series, particularly if it's only Series 2 or only Series 3, I think can be I like something that's a bit more variety. I used to go to an event a few years ago, which was the Thornycroft Society, I believe it was, and that was cars, commercials, buses, fire engines. That was good because you had such a wide variety. I think even like motorbikes and stuff as well. So that was quite a good event. But I've not been to that for a couple of years. I would be interested in particular if anyone is aware of any sort of steam rallies and local events in the sort of Reading, yeah, sort of Reading, Newbury, Thatcham, that type of area, which I think is where this vehicle worked. It's a Reading number plate, MO was a Reading plate. So that would be quite nice. It would, I mean, it's the holy grail, isn't it? Finding, oh yeah, I used to work with this vehicle, or I've got pictures of it, like back in the day. It has happened. I have a friend with a 1-ton. He's got 2 1-tons actually. One he drove as a young man. This is the ONV, the ex East Midlands Series 3. He has pictures of that from when he was driving it back in the late 70s. His other one, which is a Southern Electric one, we've got pictures of that. There's certainly 2 pictures of that in service in about early 80s maybe, and photos of it actually just after it was released. So the pardon me, the people who bought it after the board had disposed of it had some pictures as well. So they're very well documented, but generally speaking, very, very little. There's very little electricity board in general, certainly from the series sort of era. Very little even of 1-tons generally, because they're just so rare. And these, I mean, the short wheelbase, I don't think SEB had very many, probably no more than, I would guess, a couple of dozen. These were live line charge hand vehicles, so you'd have probably only had one live line team in an area, so you wouldn't have very many of these charge hands. I remember this was one of 2 that were built in this Verona green. The 109s, you tend to get reams of them. You'll get big batches, you know, 20, 30, 40 vehicles at a time. The short wheelbase, very, very few. It's a bit harder to tell sort of into Series 3 era, because they were just light green, regular Land Rover light green. They weren't special order. That certainly as far as SEB is concerned, they didn't do that after about 1970, 71. So the Series 3s are all light green. But you do see Verona green, and then after 66 SEB green, which is the Atlantic green, the lighter colour, you know, the exterior colour for this one. So yeah, so if anyone has any suggestions, leave a comment, drop me a message, contact me via the website. It'd be fun to get this out about, maybe see if we can trace some of the history. It was in the, ended up in the Guildford area. The gentleman that I bought it off back in 2010, yeah, he was sort of Guildford. He'd had it, he said, from Dunsfold, and Dunsfold, according to him, well, certainly the ownership history goes Southern Electric, and then this chap I bought it off, but he says he bought it from Dunsfold. They don't have any records, but I mean, they will have dealt with thousands of Land Rovers over the years, so maybe it went to them, maybe it didn't, don't know. But yeah, it would be nice to get a bit of history. Likewise, even, you know, with Seb as well. Like I said, that would be the holy grail, you know, a photo back in the day. There it is in the background of a picture. Yeah, we can live in hope, I guess. So yeah, that was it really. So all's going pretty well. I'm very, very pleased with the vehicle. Very grateful to Emrys for all the work that he's done with us at Emrys Kirby, with building the vehicle. Dave Marsh, who built the roof rack. Everyone else has been involved a lot, you know, lots of people helped out with advice, information, parts, and you know, yeah, I think the result is a very, very nice tour. And yeah, so likewise, if you see me out and about, you know, say hi. I'll be at some events going forward, so I'm going to leave it at that. Hope everybody's well. Take care. Thanks for watching, and see you again.